All right, welcome back, everybody, for our final runner of the night, but not the final game of the night. We've got Heponwana doing Mr. Platformer. So please take it away.
Hey everyone, I am Heponwana. I love playing indie games, and especially indie games that look old but actually are not. You can see date on this game, it's from 2023, but it looks like it came out of the Atari 2600 or in television. Or for most of you, you're probably thinking, what is Heponwana talking about? I'm an old person. I grew up with the pre-NES consoles, and this game is kind of a homage to that. It's from Terry Kavanagh, who you might know from VVVVVV, a real common speedrunning game. And I'm going to go through this game. The category is full game, which means we need to go through every single stage. There are 40 stages in this game. There are 10 different 10 different stages in each biome. Each biome would be 4 different environments. And this is a real cool game. I'll tell you more about it as we get going. Time begins as soon as I move a single pixel, and we're going to move a lot of pixels and get going really fast. So time will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. So in this game, you're just this little guy who needs to get through each of these map screens, which is going to be, like I said, 4 different environments. Each environment has 10 different stages. The layout on the map screen is randomized, but the layout of each stage has an order, so you need to memorize what stage you're meant to be on. So for example, purple stages kind of have a motif like this, where you're trying to get a key to open a door. And each one is going to be played out in a certain order. You have a quick death button and a jump button. And other than that, all you move is left and right, and that's it. We're going to take advantage of quick death to get that key back to the door as soon as we can. If we die and lose all our lives, we just restart the whole map, but it doesn't end anything. If you know Pitfall, this green stages are very much a homage to Pitfall. And cool thing about this game is, if you all remember, or maybe some of you remember, some of you don't, there was a kerfuffle last year where Unity, the engine that a lot of indie games are made from, decided they wanted to start charging developers retroactively to use their engine, and no one was really good with that. So what happened was, developers were looking for ways to get around that. One of it was using the open source engine Godot. And Terry Kavanagh wanted to try out Godot. He made this game, Mr. Platformer, in Godot. And it ended up being a really fun, cool game. Each of these environments, you'll notice, has... Ooh, almost bopped myself right there. So each of these environments kind of has a theme. There's a volcano, there's mines or dungeon or exploration, there's pitfall or jungle, and there is water. And we're going to go ahead and see all sorts of cool things with each one. I mentioned before, we need to ultimately get through a total of 40 stages before we beat the game. The challenge in that is the stages are randomized on this map, and there's not 40 of them on the map. So we are going to have to die and restart multiple times. No problem with dying in this game, and the game might crash. That's part of the RNG of this game, is it is unstable. You can also play it in browser. If you play it in browser, it's a lot more stable, but I kind of enjoy having the version downloaded on my computer, and it's not too much of a challenge to reload the game when it crashes, if it crashes. Hopefully it won't. And the really great thing, if you think this game looks fun, if you're like, hey, I would really love to try out this game, I have some good news. It is free on Terry Kavanagh's itch.io page. So go ahead, give it a shot, check it out. I really encourage people to try out this game, see what it's like. And I'm going to take it a little slow on this one. This is be a little bit safe, marathon safety strats on it. But we just go through these stages. It's a free game. It's so much fun. And honestly, I would love to see more people speedrun this. I went ahead and took the death. 28 levels remain, because we we're at a point where I wanted to restart everything. If we get to that bell tower in the upper right-hand corner and we have not beaten every stage, going that bell tower, we cannot take a death on it. We have to beat it. It's 5 or 6 screens, and those screens just lead to restarting the map anyways. So it's all about strategic death. That is an important thing on this. We want to make sure every stage is beaten, you know, in the right way, in the right order, and we're trying to keep it about even on, we want to beat one stage of each type at a time, ideally. We don't want to get too far ahead of any stage type, or else if we beat every one of a stage, they will turn gray on the map. And turning gray on the map is bad news. By the way, this stage, your big hitbox really plays a big effect, so go a little slow right there. You could hit spikes that will kill you very easily. But if we beat every stage of a type, they're going to turn gray, and they just become things that slow us down on the map screen. You'll probably see what that's like by the end, because RNG is not my friend on the map. One cool thing, though, is RNG is very much a good thing while beating these stages, because there is no RNG. Every stage, when you enter it, is on a global cycle, which means every screen in that stage is on a single timer. And that means as long as you know the cycle speed, you could just keep going. Speaking of keep going, you gotta learn your routes through this game because it is very easy. You could see this underwater area is very much a maze. There are a lot of places I could have gone, and many of them would have been bad news. So taking the right path, doing the right way. This game, though, is super chill, super fun. Ooh, I might be slightly off on a cycle, and I got through just barely in time, beating that electric wall from coming on. And once again, we take intentional deaths on those stages. Here we are going to take a slightly slow route. There is a quicker route, but this is the marathon safety route. And also it's the route I've gotten my PB on. So, if it worked for my PB, might as well do that route. This is the speedrun stage. You keep moving. And important thing is your jumps are all or nothing. There is no height control on your jump. You can't do a half jump or a full jump. It's always a full jump. So it's very good to learn your jump distance and how to take advantage of it. I took slightly wrong path here. I am going to be slightly off on the... All right, got through that cycle exactly how I would have wanted. In fact, I am doing perfect there, despite making some mistakes. Ended up, because of those fish, back on the ideal cycle. And we are probably about halfway through this run at this point, going incredibly fast. I am really enjoying how well this one is going for me. Oh, slightly bopped my head there. Want to get up here. So important thing on this game is just remembering every stage. There's 40 stages memorized, but you especially have to memorize the order on them, which is a lot of brain power that asks for, especially with how so many of these stages start off looking so similar, so identical. So we're going to go ahead and head up here. This is the only time we are going to take an intentional death on a not purple, not ladder stage. I know this has a ladder, but on a non-purple stage, we normally would not take intentional deaths. We've got to wait for this to come back. Unlike Pitfall, we could climb up that vine. Imagine going all the way back down there with that key. That is so long of a path. Also, thank you for recognizing the Intellivision O. I so love the Intellivision O because I grew up on Intellivision, and that O is so iconic to Intellivisions. By the way, this is the weirdest stage. Can you imagine a game where you go left instead of right? Good kind of callback to how we just saw Super Metroid, because the original Metroid had such a weird idea of going left to start to get the Maru Ball, which, what? Going left? This is unfortunately a slower stage just because of that little guy causing problems. But we'll go right here, grab that key. I know going left, you go from left to right. You don't go right to left. That is just completely out there. This one, we're going to need to go a little minor slowdown because we want to not fall down. And there we go. If we fell down, there's a good backup route. By the way, this is the most frustrating stage in the game. I need to get 3 keys, which 3 is a ridiculous amount of keys. And therefore, on bright side, we do have some... Oh, that was unfortunate. We have some choice on what keys to get. And none of them are really all that good. That is the most frustrating stage just because of how that works out. Although, actually, this is a frustrating one because those scorpions and your hitbox are all kind of working against you. No ET speedruns. See, the thing is, I love retro-looking games. I just am horrible at actual retro games, even though I grew up on all of them. If you ever see me with a camera on, I am known for my glorious graying beard. I am Grandpa Speedrun. That's what I like to call myself. I mean, I'm not that old, but I did grow up on, like, Atari 2600 in television, NES, like, it's all about the retro stuff, but I cannot speedrun any of them. Those games were hard, like really difficult. So, final stage of a biome. You might be noticing something here, like, it looks broken. That was a small boo-boo. So this one's kind of tricky because we gotta do a bunch of jumping where we can't see where we're going, which is really interesting. Now you'll notice all of those red stages turn gray now, and that is because we are done with the red stages. Whew, barely got through that. Your hitbox, the speed of those guys, how you are all or nothing on your jump, that is incredibly tricky, but it feels so good getting through it. This is the next to last stage for the pitfall, the jungle levels. And it is a real maze. Luckily, I know the route. And when you know the route, it makes speedrunning so much easier. Oop, wrong direction. Luckily, this one's a very good cycle-based one where you cannot get ahead of the cycle I'm on. You gotta wait for that fish, and then you gotta wait for this platform. You cannot get through any quicker, so, hey, you know what? If you make a small mistake, but you still are stuck on cycle, all is good. And now, we'll go ahead and have the final stage of Pitfall Land. This one's really hard, because tell me what you can walk through and what you can't. And I'll give you a hint. You're probably wrong. It is so hard to tell what you're doing on that, but it feels so good getting through that. We are getting really close to the end. Normally I'd take a death to teleport to there, but we're going to take it a little slow because I think we might be on the final cycle here. Also, crabs. Crabs are coming. Crabs are the worst. Because of the speed they go is slower than you can't quite jump over them. We kind of have to go slow and safe here. Something you might notice or not notice, because I have only died on enemies a couple times. If an enemy kills you, that enemy disappears when you go back into the stage. So it's kind of a reward in a sense of, hey, you died, but you could overcome it. This one's real tricky because there were a lot of false floors back there that you could not see. Exactly. Also, crabs. Oh, we are on the final cycle, which is fantastic news right here because let's see if... Oh, barely. I bopped one thing slightly too much. If you are perfect on your timing, you could get ahead of that cycle. But if you're not perfect, it's okay. Slow down. Wait for it. Because sometimes, you know, going a little too fast, You end up getting too excited, ignore that ladder. It leads to points. And you know what they say about points? What's the point? There is no point. All right. And now I'm going to ignore those gray stages because they're super slow to get through. Final water stage coming up right here. Just got to get past this one fish. And then time will be coming up in the bell tower when we get to the bell at the top. And we are on a killer pace right now. The bell turns gray. That means as soon as we get to the bell at the top, it'll be time. So time is coming up in like 2 screens. So I'd say about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 time. And that is, if not for the fact that I got a improved world record while practicing a couple hours ago, this would have been the world record. This is only 4 seconds slower than world record, so whew. And you know you're done when it says game complete, and then the game lets you continue, and the whole world is nothing but a dead silent glitch. I love this game. It is so much fun, and it is free. And if you love retro old school stuff, this game is just therapeutic and fun. And thanks for the GGs.
Absolutely fantastic run. That was very interesting to watch. Especially that one of that later level that was all broken. that was a little frightening.
Very much a throwback to old school games. A lot of them, if you kept playing them, the cartridges over time, the memory'd get corrupted. Like hopefully we've all heard of the kill screens on like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, and this game is just replicating that beautiful way that games kind of die in a weird, janky way.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. But everybody, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the King's Dungeon, also run by Grandpa Speedrun here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.